Welcome to the Pineapple Pinup, the Hot Wife Life. On today's episode, we're going to discuss blowjobs. So grab your knee pads and do away with your gag reflex. It's time to get started. Now, I've been studying blowjobs for longer than I'm going to tell any of you, but every bit of advice that you get is completely individualized. It's what the person that you're with prefers. And since I have been with Okay, seriously, so much information that I'm not going to go into with all of you. So many people. I have a lot of insight, and there are some basic overarching truths that come with the blowjob. One, a blowjob is something that a woman wants to give you as a gift. And a blowjob is something that a man wants to get for as long as he possibly can. Now, because of the fact that women have egos involved as well, we're under the impression that we are going to annihilate your world, blow your mind, and force you to come. While the entire time it's happening, men are fighting that instinct, fighting not to come. So it is a battle of wills that transcends time. It is the age-old man versus woman, original sin kind of conflict. So, how does one balance that? Because, guys, I do not care what kind of a porn star you are with. There is a time limit to how long she can participate in this activity physically. There are things like knees and jaws and tongues and soft palates and throats and a whole slew of things that are being utilized in a way that is not the most natural thing. So let's talk about giving an actual blowjob. I'm going to tell you some steps that I personally like to perform and maybe give you some insight as to why. My blowjobs, I like to start them on my knees because that gives me more control over the positioning of my head, which is important because when you are doing a blowjob, a God's honest, everything I've got blowjob, you are putting into it your sinuses, your tear ducts, your saliva glands. There's so much going into it, and there is so much fluid building up and pouring out and coming out of every orifice you have that not being in control of the positioning of your head can literally drown you. So, I like to be on my knees, and I like to start by not utilizing my hands. Utilizing your hands in some people's vocabulary is dirty, is a cheat, really. And while I totally feel that the hands have a place in a blowjob, I kind of get the philosophy of that not being part of it. So, my personal starting move is to lick my way up the thigh until I reach the balls. Each ball gets its own undivided attention from my tongue, from suction, just basically getting bathed in affection. And I do this until it feels like the individual I'm with is going to lose his mind. Because let's be honest, that's the freaking goal. So, completely mind completely without hands, without any attention to the shaft, I've already got more power than any man would like me to have. So at that point, when they're clawing at the back of your hair, begging you to take their shaft into your mouth, that's when I do that slow slide from the balls up the shaft along that vein that pulses and screams all the way up to the head. And that little spot where they meet, that little man clit, if you will, that's when I press that especially hard before I curl over and envelop the head in my mouth. Still pressing that spot with my tongue, and then I slide ever so slowly down the shaft. Now, I have deep throated in the past, but it's something that you work up to. It's not something that you go for immediately. So at first, slow bobs up and down, wetting the shaft to make it easier for that slide to happen. Going a little bit further, and then just before you do the miracle of all miracles of deep throating, you take it away. You pull off, and you start to bathe and coat the base of the cock with your tongue and your saliva. Because in order to get all the way down there, you're going to have to work fast. So, back to the top, tongue pressing against the man clit, head bobbing, then down. And when you feel that gag reflex, you inhale slightly through your nose and push further until pop, the head of that dick is straight in your throat. This is that thing, that moment, that wild sensation that men, that women, yeah, it's that thing. So let's talk about deep throating for a second. Basically, what you're doing is pushing, stretching everything that is natural within your body for breathing and eating and, swallowing. And you're forcing it to stretch a little bit farther than it should have, which means the following day, you're going to find that you have true, honest to God, blowjob mouth. That sore throat, scratchy, sore throat. The sore lips, because your teeth have macerated your lips, especially if they decide that they're going to pump into your mouth while you're already throat deep. Your sinuses are going to hurt from running the thing over. Your eyeballs are going to feel very scratchy. It is a real honest to God thing. And I got to tell you, men, if you have a woman in your life that is giving you regular blowjobs, say thank you. Say thank you. Okay, so now the thing is that deep throating is a very cool trick, but it's not what makes a blowjob a blowjob. The thing that makes a blowjob is the use of your tongue on that vein and underside of the head, and the motion of your mouth surrounding that cockhead. That's what makes a blowjob. That's what makes the stimulation beyond anything that they can control. So they like having their entire cock enveloped, but sometimes the work that you're trying to get done is happening at the head of the dick. So go back there often. Go back there, tease, play, connect with that spot that makes them absolutely freaking nutty. So, I'm going to share some tips and tricks that I have been given along the way. This one particular redheaded gentleman that I knew, he once told me that a woman will never be as good at giving a blowjob as a man is, because the principle behind it is they know the equipment, they know the terrain, and they know how much pressure that a dick can take. Women, for some reason, we have this idea that needs to be handled with care. But if you've ever seen a man jacking off, you know that they can take a lot more pressure than you could ever give. Women are also not as careful with their teeth as men are, because they understand the importance of being toothless in that moment. So we will never be as good at it as other men are. So take that as you will, and just realize you are never going to come up on top of that particular mountain. Now, I got some advice from a listener because I requested it. And this is what he said. So let me begin by saying that any sexual encounter takes intuition. In other words, you have to be understanding of what the other partner wants or needs. Our egos tend to cloud this part at times. Now, the topic of blowjobs is, which is yet again different for every single person. What makes a blowjob good is somebody who can keep the arousal and is sort of good at it. Might not do everything you like, but not a complete waste. What makes a blowjob great is somebody who picked up on your intuition and just hit a home run, did everything you liked, sucked on the tip, which becomes extremely sensitive, tickled the hole with their tongue. But at the end, you have the most earth-shattering orgasm. I do believe the biggest mistake when giving a blowjob is the use of teeth. Imagine scraping your knee on the ground. That's exactly how it feels on a guy's dick. I've had that and instantly lost all interest, like dead gone, never coming back. Imagine a guy biting a woman's clit, same thing. It's gonna hurt, and the woman's gonna be like, he doesn't know what he's doing. I hope this helps to enlighten you on the topic. Okay, so other bits of information that I have obviously gathered. There is no substitute for reading the person that you're with. There's nothing, because if you're with somebody who finds that you're that overstimulating that spot right below the head is too much, it makes them crazy. Imagine what it's like after, oh, women, imagine what it's like after you've orgasmed and your clit is vibrating, and then somebody decides that they're going to try to get you off again by inflicting their will on your clit. It's too much. You want to punch them in the neck. It's real. So that's the same thing that they're facing. And sometimes people, men, have that sensitive area as an overstimulation spot. So touching it, manipulating it, focusing on it can be entirely too much for them. Grazing it as you pass by, much better. And there's no substitute for listening to your partner and how he's reacting to everything that you're doing. When a man makes that sound in the back of his throat, like he's kind of growling at you, oh, he means do more, give me more. There's not enough. I need more. When he makes that sound, like uh, surrender, that means you're doing what he likes. When he makes, stop what you're doing, pull back, find out what's wrong. So now let's get into a little hot wife play. You're there in the room giving a blowjob, and your husband is watching. What makes this blowjob hot for him? I had a listener send me a message anonymously and ask me, well, tell me, what makes it hot for him? What makes it hot for him is eye contact from his hot wife. She is pleasuring this man, and she is doing it to drive that man crazy. And making that eye contact proves that he's in the room with her. Imagine you're sitting there watching your wife swallow a dick like a pro. She's gagging, she's pushing past it, she's deep throating, and she turns just slightly and stares you down as she slowly slides up that cock to tease the tip. You know exactly how that feels. You've been there before. You know what that man is going through. You can mirror neuron the shit out of that blowjob. And now she's made eye contact with you that proves she knows that you're there and that you're feeling exactly what that man is feeling. You guys are bonded in a way that no other person can really understand at that moment. And that is how a hot wife blows two people at the same time. So I have a question from a listener. Do you have a preferred number of partners to have sex with at one time? When listening to your podcast, it sounds like you usually have one partner at a time in private, and when you're at a sex party, perhaps two. Okay. Let's talk about a sex party. A sex party, I it's really hard to do anal in that environment. It's entirely too unsanitary to subject an entire room to it. So anal is not an option. You're also required to wear condoms, which means that double vaginal penetration is really not going to work because the condoms would break and defeat the whole purpose of the protection. And it's just too dangerous for. And these guys are basically strangers. They know each other from the party circuit, but they don't know each other. And that's a very intimate act to rub your cock against someone else's cock while they're inside of a vagina. Now, the vagina is the great place to be, and the tightness of it all would be just miraculously awesome. But it's just not a feasible thing at a sex party. I love finger cuffing. I love being in the middle, a dick in my mouth, a dick behind me. Um, I have played in that scenario with a dick in each hand. But really, as far as like actual participating partners, there's not really a way to do too much more than that. But I've been at gangbangs with up to 5 guys, and yeah, they take turns because it's just easier, more sanitary, and safer. Um, I hope that answers your question because I'll be honest with you, I would try anything once or twice just to see if it was any good the second time. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Pineapple Pinup the Hot Wife Life. If you like the show, please share, subscribe, review, anything you can, just to let me know you're out there. If you'd like to ask a question or you have you want to talk, you can hit me up at pineapplepinuppod@gmail.com. That's pineapplepinuppod@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you.